Hey, listeners, before we get into today's episode, I just want to thank our returning sponsor, Pretentious Pickle. The Pretentious Pickle Company is located here in Plymouth, Massachusetts at 190 Water Street, and they have a wide variety of pickled items, everything from pickled cucumbers to mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, carrots, beets, anything that you can pickle, they pickle. And it's a delicious snack. And if you're in a pickle for what to get your significant other for Valentine's Day, just go to Pretentious Pickle and they can sort that out for you. You can, again, find them at 190 Water Street here in Plymouth, or find them on the web at pretentiouspickle.com. And now let's get into our show. Get them raging. Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am your host, Andy. Look at everybody run. So I'm Andy from Inebriart, and this is the Bar Talk Podcast. We've been here for a while, recording already. And I am joined by Jordan Chabot of the Speedwell Tavern.
Sadi.
Karl Heine of the New World Tavern.
Hello, everybody.
And Dan Mahoney made it to this one. Good morning, Dan.
Yeah. Did I, though?
I don't know. You're physically here.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Dan's been awake for about a half an hour.
Yeah. Listen, it's 1:20, and that's true.
Yeah.
If you didn't text me, I wasn't waking up.
So we wanted to do something positive. We've been through a year of hell. And so Karl was like, let's talk about what we love about the business, why we're in the business, what got us here. So, Karl, go. Like, we're going to take a nap. Like, you just go.
Yeah, I'll be back in
right,
next
we'll
podcast.
All right, so the question is, if this business is so, I don't want to say negative because I don't mean that, but we've talked about people doing this, demanding.
It's very
people
demanding,
doing that, people doing
Mentally
this.
straining.
Why do we stay in the business? Why don't we become Herbie the dentist or something?
Well, let me put it this way. So my daughter is in a vocational school, and
Is she all right?
yeah, she's fine. But she was deciding like what shop she wanted to take, and one of them was culinary. And I support her in any decision, but I'm like, just so you know, you can kiss your Friday, Saturday nights goodbye. You become friends with just industry people because that's how it works. You know, you are working when other people want to go out. So what made you choose that lifestyle, Karl?
Well, I thought I was going to be rich by now.
That didn't happen?
It's an honest
yet?
No.
It's an honest answer.
Nope, it has not happened.
But did you really? I mean,
Well,
like
I don't want to say I was sick of working for other people, but I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always going to hit megabucks and Powerball for $1 billion. I'm always going to be the one that goes to Las Vegas and, pulls the handle and wins the jackpot. So I'm a little bit of a dreamer. And before we started this business, there was no really, it was almost 10 years ago now, so there was no really good place to get a craft beer that was local. You could get a craft beer somewhere, but you couldn't go to a craft beer bar. So we said, well, why not us? We've been to these places that, we loved, and they were 30 minutes away, and they were always crowded, and it seems like it was a moneymaker because we were there when it was crowded. We weren't there when it was a Tuesday afternoon and nobody was inside. So we decided to take a chance. And I was talking to my wife for a long, long time saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to open up a bar, I'm going to open up. And she said, for Christ's sakes, I'm sick of listening to you. Just do it and shut up. So then I did it.
It's funny. Inebriart is my second business. I used to own a comic book shop, and at the time, my now ex-wife's uncle, I was kind of like, oh, I'd really like to open up a shop and be my own boss and blah blah blah. And he goes, so do it. You're only going to regret not doing it. He's like, if you do it and it fails, fine.
Right. You can always say you tried.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, somebody else did it. I could have been that guy.
Yeah. And I don't regret a second of it. It's you work. I love people who like, I want to start a business. And I'm like, don't, because you're not the person. You can just tell.
Right.
And like if you're bitching about working 40 hours a week, you don't want to own your own business.
No, right. Unless you want to work for somebody.
But you say
else.
regrets.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You
You don't
say
wanna own your own
regrets.
business.
Right.
Regrets and what I would have done are two different things.
Yeah.
Do I regret opening up a bar even with COVID going through? And no,
We're not talking about
I
COVID.
I don't regret it at
No
all.
C words
Yeah,
here,
no C
Kyle.
word.
C words?
Yeah.
Any of them.
I don't.
That's why we spell Karl with a K.
I don't regret it at all.
How are we gonna talk
I
about
would have done
Speedwell,
things
not
much
mention
differently,
chicken?
knowing hindsight is 2020. But yeah, I mean, I like the people that come in. I like dealing with them. I like running my own business. It's tough when the money doesn't come in and you can't pay what you thought you were going to be able
Yeah.
to pay, and the nightmares are brutal. And sometimes it takes away from your family. A lot of times it does. And I'm lucky because my kids are older and my wife doesn't like me, but
That wasn't the restaurant's fault.
it does. You're here not only working 40 hours a week, and then people expect you to be here when they're coming here. And when do they come here? They come here during the weekends, they come here at night, they come here
All the times
during
you
the
wanna do stuff,
holidays.
yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
all the stuff that, hey, how come you're not here? Well, I'm spending, Christmas Eve with my family. Well, we came down to see you. And
We thought you.
Yeah,
you
but
and
we
your
thought you were
family.
going to be
But
here.
then the
so-
same aspect, if there's a sick call and you don't have
gotta
a
cover
bartender,
it. Yeah.
you're spending Christmas Eve
right.
now away from your family.
If you got 3 cooks and 2
Yeah.
of them calling sick, there's not anybody else you can
Yeah.
call. It's you that come in and do the work. So
So why?
those are the bad things. Why do we do
why?
it?
Yeah, why?
It's fun. It really is fun. I get more laughs and I guess, I don't want to say amusement because that's the wrong word, but
Entertainment.
entertainment. I mean, it's nice coming here. It's nice knowing that you own the business. It's nice knowing that you're going to come in and see some of the regulars that you really, really like. And that, I mean, for someone to say, geez, the food here is really good. I mean, it makes you weak.
Yeah.
And you could have 15 people saying, I got a burnt burger. But that one person that comes in and says, geez, this food is really good. It's always consistent. I mean, it makes you proud.
Yeah.
And that's really why I do it. It's really pride. And it sounds like that's a bad thing, but
It's not.
I'm proud what we did here. And it's not just me. It's all the people that, work for me. It's all the people that used to work for me. It's just, I'm proud of the place. I like to be here. I like the people that are here.
You're a social guy, and that's what I've gathered from you.
And I
is-
like drinking beer.
And you like drinking beer. And you like being able to do that while working. But you're a social guy, too. So, I can't picture you in another walk of life really outside of the restaurant industry. There might be a couple more industries, like stripper or something like that, where you could be as social as you want to be.
Vacuum salesman.
Vacuum salesman. But you
I love how
are...
it's stripper
So did you
or
just say,
vacuum
you just say
salesman.
I could be a stripper?
Either way, you're sucking
That was
on
like
something.
the nicest thing you've said about me.
He didn't say you'd be a good one.
I almost have to do a pocket check.
But you're it's really the social aspect, right?
It's the social aspect.
It's all of the social
100%.
aspect. It's a social interaction with your staff. It's a social interaction with your clientele. It's a social interaction with the people you're buying things from. It's the freedom, that looseness of the environment that I think you're not going to get in a cubicle. You're not even going to really get in retail.
And when I buy the customers a drink, I'm like everybody's friends. I have so many friends now.
Yes. Really, just want you
How
for
many
the-
friends I have.
They're only nice for the free stuff.
Yeah.
But
And then when
it
they
doesn't-
get that tab.
doesn't
No,
matter.
sir. No, sir.
Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. They like me.
Yeah, I really like Karl. as I curl back my white
So
claw.
yeah, so why do we do it? Why do we do it? So it's a hard question to answer.
Oh no, I'll tell you. Everyone that works in this
Excuse
industry,
me.
listen, it's
They
my
asked
turn.
me.
You've talked this whole podcast.
Ooh, finally. Karl off. There we go.
Dan's the salty one today.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God, it's coming in hot. I love it.
Everyone in this industry is a tick away from being one of those people that likes to get hit with stuff. And unfortunately, and you can deny it all you want, but we all like the emotional punishment. But
like drama.
It also comes with the emotional highs and all that stuff. Like my life would be so much more boring if I didn't work in this industry.
Right.
Like I couldn't tell you about the crazy person that yelled at me that there was a spy camera in the phone and that the government was watching her. I couldn't tell you about Michael Myers, the serial killer that punched himself in the face
Right.
and told us he's coming back for us, or the midget stripper. So the chapters of my life book wouldn't be that long. I'd be a pop-up book like Andy.
Right.
Instead of
I have an
a 30
interesting life
Why do you keep volunteering to hang out with us?
Yeah.
because it's early in the morning. My life
Without
hasn't
us,
started yet.
Andy, there's no you.
Don't you sense the yearning in your regulars too, because they want to be super involved in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Like even though we feel like we got a tortured life because we're in the restaurant industry, when you talk to your clientele, your loyal guests, like your regulars, they all want to know what's going on in your life. I'm not asking them how shoe sales are going, but they want to know how many chicken
sure.
tenders I sold on the Super Bowl Sunday, or like what's the new beer, and like what we're doing is
they all-
super fucking interesting.
And they all have comments on, you know what you should do.
Yeah.
And they'll say something, and you may never do it, but they said it to the owner of a business that, you know what you should do.
Yep.
Right.
You should do.
It's
What other place can you go to where you
burgers.
can see the person that's in charge of everything?
The next
Yeah.
time they come, we have burgers.
Magnificent.
So-
Hey, I told them to do those burgers.
But so it's weird. It's like if you own a small business, the people become attached to it in weird ways.
Loyalty thing. Yeah.
It's more.
It is because I think they feel
I don't even
that
know.
they belong.
But yeah. It's they feel it's like somehow theirs. So I said this. Inebri Art's my second business. I own a comic book shop. I got divorced. I ended up closing it. When I was telling my customers, one of them like teared up.
Right.
And was like, you're a regular, you know, like that fucking regular. Like,
You haven't bought anything in months.
They look forward to that.
but like it was
Yeah, no
their,
shit, right?
it became like their place to go where they felt like they belonged.
right.
And like, so
It's
people,
like Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
It's not only the ownership and the people that are working there, but all of a sudden you get to know the other customers that come in.
I have
and
super
everybody says
close
hello to
friends,
you.
yeah.
It
Correct.
really does mean something.
I mean,
Correct.
one of my best friends right now, I
You
met.
have more than one?
No, he's
I love
had
that.
enough
Dude,
drinks.
Fish is cracking the fuck up.
Why
right
is-
now.
So you're talking about fish?
Yeah, you're talking
No, I'm not talking about. Well, Fish was from my other business. But
His side
Andy,
hustle.
dude. He went
So-
from that worship
I
Andy
know,
episode
I
to
know,
the roast
right?
Andy episode.
Yeah. But one of my best friends right now, I met because of Inebri Art in the New World Tavern.
He's talking about you, Karl.
No, my buddy.
You didn't say it like that. You could have hesitated.
My buddy Roman. Oh, I mean, it was Karl. No, but like he came to one of our figure drawings, and now we're like really close friends, and you know,
Well, that's what happens when you're the naked model and he draws you, you know?
Listen,
You're doing
builds
finger drawing
intimacy.
with a naked
people
model.
like to draw me like they're French girls. It's just how it is. But no, it's
don't
so
get that.
many
Titanic.
Titanic.
Bunch of bros going Titanic.
But so many like of my close personal friends have come from like meeting at bars, and I don't know what that says about me. I know what it says about me. But it's an environment where people connect and they have their bar. You know, like everyone has their place where they hang out.
Listen, this country was founded on bars. Like,
Yeah,
there would
absolutely.
be no American independence without them all sitting in a bar, drunk, drinking beers, and be like, fuck these British people. Let's get fucked up and steal their tea and throw shit in the ocean.
Yep.
And meanwhile,
That's
there's
the,
a
that's
bartender
the
who's in
broken
the
down
weeds
history,
being
yeah.
like, what do you want? Just tell me what beer you want. I don't care where you're going to throw
Yeah.
tea.
Hey, assholes, wake up John Hancock. He's puking in the corner.
Bars are the perfect environment to have social interaction and get shit done, because if you fuck up, then you could just blame it on the alcohol.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's why so much gets done.
Everybody
Yeah.
keeps talking about a bar. Are we bars? Are we restaurants? Are we changing
Well, right
the
now
name
we're
when
restaurants,
it's?
but
It
Yes.
depends what
Are
the
we
rules
changing
are.
the name as we go?
Yeah.
Is there a
They're-
difference?
They're fairly interchangeable. I mean,
I think so.
There's
I think so,
certain, there
too.
are certain places that are bars. BBC's a bar. Galway's a bar. If you don't know what those are, like Google them in Plymouth. Those are bars.
Those are few, though, now. I
But
don't
New
think
World Tavern is a restaurant. It's a bar. It's a concert venue. Speedwell Tavern has a bar, but it's a restaurant.
yeah, it's kind of a local hangout.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean-
you know what I mean? It's
I've never been to Stats. Sorry, man. I can't
Listen,
make a
we were
reference.
just talking.
I've never been
Your,
to Stanford.
your loss.
Maybe
My
we
guy
should.
drinking
Maybe
a
we
Coke.
should
I was there
record
the
an
other day with the
episode.
hockey mask. I punched myself in the face.
That's Jason.
Well, that's Jason.
Yeah.
That was pretty good though. I knew
It was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
I almost got it right.
We could
You
record
only
an
knew the
episode.
20-year-old movie.
We should record
We
an
should
episode.
record an episode of
Stats. Can
Stats.
we do that?
There's no like privacy.
That's okay.
Does
Maybe.
this seem like a crowd? that wants
And you're
privacy?
always open, right?
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, we'll figure that
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out.
Maybe.
But it's just a trash truck.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm doing the, I'm
don't
doing
talk
the Jordan
about my
thing,
work
like
like
staring out. Made a weird noise. So Jordan, why? Because you can work in a kitchen, you can work a bar, you can work as a server. What made you decide? I've done all that. I want to open a restaurant. Was it like
It was
head
all luck.
trauma?
No,
or?
it was all luck.
It was that time he almost killed
I say
himself in
luck
mustard
like
gas.
it's a good thing, but it is. I'm
Yeah, but I guess
very.
let's change the question. It's not why did you open the restaurant. It's why do you continue working the way you do now with all the obstacles that are against restaurants / bars.
Would it
And-
have
and
been
we always
easier to
talk
close
about,
up in the
"Oh,
beginning of
this
2020
sucked, that sucked."
and walk away?
Why do we still do it?
Well,
Why?
here's the deal. Personally, with me, and I think this is where Karl and I are very like-minded as far as how we run our restaurants and how we think. I can't believe I just admitted that, but we have different upbringings. Like, I've always been in restaurants. My first job was a restaurant when I was 15 with a work permit. I've been in restaurants. I didn't always want to work in restaurants, but it was what you did. You were
Yeah.
a kid. You got a dish. I got a busboy job and never left. I've been in, since I was 15. Got hired my first busboy job, 30 hours a week. I have always worked 30 hours a week at least, and I've always worked in a restaurant. Very unique. I think it's common in some ways. I think most people, when they work that long in restaurants, try to get out of it. I did a couple times. And realized that it was what I was good at. It could be profitable. That I would not be able. I grew accustomed to that lifestyle, like Karl was saying, like where you're social and you have a little bit of freedom. Not so much maybe when you're a server or working in the kitchen, but when you become an executive in a restaurant industry, you have some freedom to do things. And you know, it's acceptable to sit here and drink White Claws at 10 o'clock in the morning and do a podcast with
It's
you guys
like
because it
one
promotes
now.
my business. But it's not when we started. It's all I know. So I don't want to.
But what made you change from I'm the guy not in charge to I want to be in charge? Like that's because that's the difference between I punch in, I punch out, I go home to I want to be an entrepreneur.
Right. I think I'm the kind of person that needs to be. I don't want to be the weakest link. So when I first got hired, I had to be one of the better workers when I was a busboy, and that in turn they saw that potential in driving me. So it wasn't about the money; it was about being the hardest worker in the room. I was insecure. I didn't want someone to think I was a detriment to the business. I wanted to prove myself, always prove myself. So then I became the busboy manager, like after a year, and then didn't want to be the worst busboy manager of all time because I was working at a restaurant that had been there for 50 years, and there was a lot of history there and a lot of clout. So became the best. Not the best busboy manager, but became one of the better busboy managers there. There were like 6. And then after that, they moved you up.
6 busboy managers.
The place was fucking huge. I talk about the
Interesting.
place all the time.
Jesus
I know it's closed now. How sad is that? But yeah, there were 6 banquet rooms and then a dining room. I was the busboy manager, one of 2 busboy managers in the dining room. And then after that, I became a bartender. And after that, you just keep showing up and working really hard, and people are going to give you opportunities. And no matter how much I fought to get out of it, I seized every one of those opportunities. I appreciated those opportunities, and I didn't want to fuck off. Like, I wanted to prove myself that I could be independent and work hard. So that's kind of what happened to me, and then I ended up stuck here because of that. So, it in turn, eventually, people who had money in restaurants when I started working from one of those big places to an independent place, they were invested in me as a manager, a general manager, and they were like, you know what? It'd be nice. This kid isn't going to work this hard this long without having his teeth sunk into this place. Maybe when we open up another restaurant, this is a guy we partner with, and that's kind of what happened. That's exactly what happened with me.
So the thing that I'm always concerned about personally is there's a thing, it's either called the Peters principle or the Peterson principle, and it's you get promoted to your level of incompetence. So if you are a good busboy, they promote you to server. If you're a good server, they promote you to bartender. If you're a good bartender, they promote you to manager. And at some point, you get promoted to a job that exceeds your ability. That's kind of like always a fear of mine. Like
That's where I am now.
we know. But I mean, like, one of the things that I feel like everyone at this table is an insane work ethic.
Right.
And it's because we talked about how right I was last time. I'm going to give Fish a compliment. I can call Fish and be like,
Cut his mic quick.
I can be like, we needed this episode edited and up tomorrow, and it'll get done. Like, I don't have to think about it. He's gonna bitch.
You just have a guy.
He's gonna get it done. Like anything I ever
he
ask.
dubbed in
You just
karate
have
kung
a
fu
guy.
noises in one of the
Yeah.
episodes
I'm
a couple
telling you.
weeks ago. And I was
So,
impressed.
but I
It's
feel like
so weird hearing you say nice things about
it's
Fish.
weird. I feel dirty.
That's why
I
I
need to
laugh.
shower.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable at it.
But I feel
Okay now.
But I feel like everyone at this table has that kind of mentality where, if someone told you you have to drive to Jersey to make the New World Tavern happen tomorrow, you're in your car. Like, it's not
Yeah.
even like a thought process. You're just like, cool.
Is it like fear of failure? I have a fear of failure. Like, I don't want to ever fail.
I don't know. Like, I just think it's how I'm wired. Like, the beginning of the C word was very difficult for me because it was sitting at home doing nothing.
I love that we're calling it the C word now.
C
'cause
word.
That could be interpreted. It's so much worse than
Yeah.
just saying the word.
So the
But
beginning,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
the beginning of the C word was really, really difficult for me because it was sitting at home and waiting. I didn't know anything. My day job was up in the air. Now I feel I have direction. I'm working on something every day, whether it's something that actually brings me money or just some sort of weird project that I have in mind.
Of this.
Or this? Yeah.
It's something that definitely doesn't bring you money.
But, it's...
This saves him money. This is his like therapy session.
Yeah,
right?
no
Yeah.
shit, right?
So my dad, when I was growing up... No.
I was like, all right.
But no, but like
Somebody stop him.
This
Like-
week on Andy Talk.
But it is, I have to be doing something constructive. Like, I don't like sitting around, and it's legit. This keeps me mentally sane, just working on something.
I mean, we're doing this iPod podcast right now.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this mic's on.
What is your point?
Yeah, I mean,
That we still do it.
That's true. Touche. Yeah.
We still do it.
I think, and that's the thing, like, bouncing off what Andy just said about having to be constructive all the time. That's kind of the nice thing about the restaurant industry is people like us. I'm going to speak in generality, but I think everyone here would agree, like, you need a purpose. Like, and with the restaurant industry, there's never a shortage of purpose. You always have something getting thrown your way. There's always something to do. There's always some issue, some drama, or just a task that you have to get done at hand. I don't want to have to sit at a desk and be like, fuck, I have nothing driving me today. I need that drama to drive me. I need that purpose. I need those obstacles. I need that satisfaction at the end of the day when I crack my drink open, being like, I fucking earned this. You know what I mean? I needed that.
See,
Like,
now I'm more of the planning type. So
Yeah.
it's always like, okay, so St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Do we have enough staff? Okay, we got to plan for this. We got to plan for this. Make sure that we got coming in. Make sure we have enough cooks in the kitchen. Make sure that we got enough corned beef in.
do we have
Yep.
green food dyed?
right,
or-
right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
everything.
it's sold
And
out
then-
everywhere.
And then when it goes smooth, it's all because of the pre-planning. So I'm all about the pre-planning. So then the next one will be, okay, we have outdoor seating. What do? We got to make sure we got enough chairs. Make sure we have enough tables. Make sure we get enough staff out there. Okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Okay, we're going to put the computers, staff, the hostess station over here. We're gonna, so it's all planning to make sure that whatever happens runs smoothly. And once it runs smoothly, or if it doesn't run smoothly, I can blame myself saying, okay, I never saw that coming and we didn't have enough people in, or,
Yeah,
you can never have too much staff in
yeah.
unless you talk to the staff.
Yeah, so it depends who you ask.
Right. But it is that sense of
But it's,
accomplishment.
it's the sense of accomplishment
Yeah.
saying, you know what, we had our best St. Patrick's Day ever and everything went smooth.
And you did that shit.
That's right. And
You
that's
you
right.
could say it was a team effort,
Yep.
100%. But you ultimately at the top of the pyramid, being the business owner,
Right.
put everything in
Because for
motion
2
to
months,
make that happen.
I've been saying, do we have enough people?
Correct.
Okay, let's bring in these people at this time. Let's bring in another bartender at this time.
That is a
let's
pretty
make
cool
sure we
feeling.
get the, let's shorten the menu for this, but we'll, increase it for this. Let's have the music in. We hire
Right.
the bands. Everything's doing, and yeah, you could have people do that for you, but you never think it's going to turn out as well as you can because you just think that they're going to miss something. And once you miss something on those, whatever day you're planning on, you're screwed.
That's all you focus on too.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true though, like and I think the best business owners are the ones that don't want someone else doing it for them. Like they want that challenge and they know their business better than anybody. Even when they don't, they do. Right. You know what? Because you're in the building every day, you're living it, and it's your ass on the line.
Right.
There's something about that too, with going to work every day and you don't even have to be an owner, but like going to work every day knowing you're owning your shift, like earning your tips, earning your this. Your ability to succeed is based specifically on your performance.
Well, and the great thing about this industry is it's so much instant gratification. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait 6 months to see how the profit turned.
Nope.
Like you walk out that night, you know what you did for sales. You know you're counting your money. All
but
that
not even
stuff,
that.
right?
I mean, you could have a great night with money coming in, but as a bartender, somebody comes up and says, Jesus, this is one of the best drinks I've ever had.
Exactly.
It makes you
Yep.
night. You're like,
That's really all.
Yeah,
we
there's
do
so
it
many
for.
different scales of it.
somebody
like that.
order another drink.
I know.
I'm ready to make another one,
And I gotta say, because inebriart has always worked kind of parallel to bars and restaurants and breweries, and the thing that always filled me with real joy is we would do a beer mug painting at a bar or at a brewery. We would do life drawing here, and it'd be like a Tuesday night, and we'd have 30 people in the back eating and drinking, and I'd be like, hey, we helped that person.
Yeah.
My client isn't necessarily the person that comes to draw or comes to paint a mug. It's the restaurant.
Correct.
Right.
That's the way I look at it, is my job is asses in seats.
Mm-hmm.
And we do these vendor markets now. So it's like, if I can get the brewery to be like, hey, we want you back, or other breweries like, hey, can you do that here? And the vendors to be like, book me for all of them.
Right.
That's my good drink.
Right.
That's my moment where I've done a good job. Everyone's happy.
Goes right back to what Karl was saying.
Yeah.
You have a plan for something, and when you can see it unfold and work, and I guess that applies to everything. And this is a restaurant specific question, like the whole theme of this, but planning, like you're parallel to restaurants, like seeing that happen, seeing it go through, and being like, wow, like I did that shit. Like,
Yeah.
And I mean,
we did
that's
that shit.
anybody's job. I mean, you could be
Yeah,
a corporate
right.
job and make a presentation for your boss and have it go over great.
Yep.
And you go home feeling like, what a great job at it
Of
today,
course.
But
I think
it's
we
the
have
same
more
thing here.
opportunities for that instant gratification, like Dan was saying. We in the restaurant industry, we have more of that opportunity.
It's that instant, yeah.
Yeah, to get it in the instant interaction. Hey, this drink is great. Wow, that was the best burger I ever had. Or even just counting your tips in the night. You didn't even get a compliment, but you count your tips and you're like, holy shit, I made some fucking money. Like that
There's a lot of-
instant gratification.
A lot of thinking on your toes in this industry too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you solve a problem that you didn't see, and you're like, "Holy shit, I handled that stuff!" Like that's another sense of accomplishment.
You handled
get.
it, and it either wasn't an issue, or people didn't really notice, or people didn't really complain. Like, I made it slide through, made it happen.
This guy didn't know that this keg exploded downstairs, but I
Right.
still got him his beer quick or whatever.
right.
Like,
Yeah, great.
no one knew
yeah.
I had no CO2 in my taps until I figured it out. Why it was broken.
And then
Like,
when the lights are out and you're cleaning
Yeah.
the place up and counting your drawer, you guys are yucking it up with each other with the people that were at war with you all day, and you
Yep.
get to pound your chest a little bit and be like, "Remember when that fucking happened? Remember when
Yep.
that caught on fire, but no one
Right.
in the dining room knew about
Yep.
it, or and that's happened on Super
Yep.
Bowl Sunday at Speedwell. Thank you very much. Karl knew about it because I ran over here for baking soda, but
And then I posted it on Napster.
But no, it
Hack the
is
security
those
feeds.
kind of gratifying moments. Like, I remember one of the ones specifically, we were doing a beer mug painting at Knockabout down the Cape, great brewery. And we always do our beer mug paintings like Monday, maybe Thursday, but usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, slow nights. And I think it was like a Tuesday night, we showed up, and like 6 people were kind of like on their way out. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah. He's like, you just missed the rush. And I'm like, the 6 dudes? He's like, yeah, it's Tuesday. And I'm like, well, buckle up, Buttercup. I have 46 people coming. And he's like, what? I'm like, there's 46 people coming. Get your shit ready. Like,
Hell
it's
yeah.
gonna be busy.
it's awesome.
Yeah, and it makes me feel good because I know that bartender, it made his tips.
Right.
Like, he had a great Tuesday night. I know the brewery sold a shitload of beer, and we made money too. And that's,
Right.
everyone made out that night.
I think the theme is, like, to just paint a broad stroke over the whole thing, is the reason why you stay doing something is because you've had a positive feedback on it. Like you feel like
That's
you
right.
should be doing it. So yeah, you might get 10 negative comments or whatever, or not even just comments, just things that happen that make your day stressful. There are obstacles constantly, but that one time where it all just kind of falls into place, or you realize you have that come into Jesus moment where you're like, I'm where I should be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm good at this. I am confident in this. I'm doing what I'm, yeah. And that's enough to just keep you going. And with the opportunity to feel that every day, whether it just be a compliment on a drink or looking at the sales at the end of the night, that's enough to keep me roped in. It's kept me roped in for 20 years now. Like, it's
And there are unspoken fringe benefits. Like, we've been doing the podcast now.
You mean all the free beer I gave you during the podcast?
correct.
Yes, very much. But I mean, we've been doing the podcast almost 6 years. Inebriate's been around. This is 10 years. And, people are always like, well, do you make a living at it? Because, like, I've actually started to kind of, like, help other people get their podcast launched, advice and whatnot. And they're like, oh, do you make a living at it? And I'm like, no, that's not why I do it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, what's the upside? I'm like, I've had fringe benefits that I would have never thought of. And to this day, like, I can't even wrap my head around. Like, I had a free personal tour of the Lizzie Borden house. We've been invited to watch the joust at the King Richard's Fair from the King's box.
Sick.
Like, just, I would never think to even ask for that. And people are like, oh, yeah, like, we'll hook you up this. And, I have people in the UK that are like, oh, come fly out. We'll, hang out and, you can crash at my place. And
Our boy Jake French.
yeah, Jake French, Tuscaloosa. He's like, come
Let's
down,
go.
hang out. It is the connections and it's the fringe benefits and, the free White Cloth. Thanks, Karl. But even just the weird connections that you make from people.
But is that the thing too? Is the opportunity? Because if you're in a social business, then you have more opportunities to kind of capitalize on
Yeah.
that sort of thing, and that's what it is. It's the I think at the end of the day, like I was saying about Karl earlier, it's the you belong in a social atmosphere. This is a social atmosphere, so yeah, the reward is not all financial. It's
Well, the community you're part of. And I don't mean like the town you live in or work in. It's like being part of this industry. It's like you can go to another bar and you don't even know that guy, and it's like you get the bartender handshake.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you what it is if you don't know.
I don't know it.
I don't.
You don't know it?
You
Everybody
know
else knows
it. Yeah.
I haven't bartended. In
I don't
years.
know. I don't know.
No, you know.
I know.
It's a shot of Jameson. But just even like, I don't know, to be part of that, like you get to know everyone you work around with, and you can all be on the same playing field and all.
I mean, it's
like-mindedness and all
It's
that.
this. Like, we can have this podcast and people we don't know are listening to it and relate.
Yep.
100%. They're like, oh my God, I've been in that instance. Oh my God, that question about tips that has been asked 5 times. I had that same question, and they didn't
I'll
really.
tell you,
they
I
didn't
was
really
known to
answer
think
the
that stuff
question.
about the
but-
Valentine's Day people.
Right.
So
Do we know? And here's something I was just thinking of while talking about this, about how this industry I was thinking more about how this industry grips you. Like, it's really hard to get out once you're in because there's nothing else like it. How many people do we really know who, like, did okay in the restaurant industry and then just straight up just was like, no, I'm going to go sell cars? There's not many people.
Do you
that-
mean like
Everyone comes back.
owners or like
They always come back.
No,
servers?
there
are people who get
you
out.
say that, but then you look at it and say, what is it? 1 in 7 make it past the first year.
Yeah, right.
So there's 6 of them that went on to do something else.
Of course, but I'm saying people that have done well in it, and maybe I'm sure it's a lot more.
Well, that's kind of like
what is the definition of?
kind of
doing
straw
well?
manning your argument. Be like, the people who've done well, how have they left?
Yeah,
the business?
yeah,
Be
right.
like, why would they leave?
Right. That's true. That's a good point.
But we've had.
But the question is, why do they do well?
You see, I think the point I'm trying to make is you see a lot more people who maybe their first job was the restaurant industry, even if they go into other walks of life later in life as they get older, they always seem to hang on to that like one shift.
Yep.
Like you see a lot of that.
I will bring this up because this was a young person that started off with Jim Casey, Plymouth's favorite, Jordan's favorite chef.
My crush.
Worked at the Blue Eyed Crab, loved working there, and he was going into his senior year in high school, I think, and quit because he wanted to be a student with a part-time job, not someone who worked in a kitchen going to school. And I thought that was really interesting because I feel like if you talk to like bartenders and servers, and there's a lot of them like, well, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, but it's certain people are servers and bartenders and cooks and whatnot. They may have a hobby or another interest, but they're probably not going to leave the business. If you have another drive, you're going to leave,
Right.
because it's not for you.
Yep. And there's definitely certain people it's just not for.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, but
that's-
usually they wash out real quick.
No, but there's a lot of people that, get their education and they want to become lawyers and doctors or whatever they are, but they do keep that one shift because they miss the interaction with
Yeah.
other people. And
There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
It's true. It's true. And you're like, why do you do that to yourself? Like, what do you mean you work every Saturday bartending at, whatever place? And you're a lawyer, you're this, you're that.
And when
it's
you're
like,
good at it, people will come to see you. And that's
Correct.
why we at the New World Tavern, we keep people on the same shifts because now the customers coming in know who works at what shift. So if they want to come in to see me, they know when I'm here. If they want to come in to
Wait,
see...
what?
Well, I didn't want to mention anybody else's name because
All right.
I'm going to fire a lot of people
Oh,
tomorrow. But if they want to come in to see a certain bartender or a certain server, they know that if I go there Thursday nights, that's who's working.
Right.
Not like, they mix it up all the time. And
You'd be hard pressed to find another industry where that happens.
Yeah.
I think.
And then if that person does get fired by Karl,
They go work at
they
Speed.
go work somewhere else, and the people will follow them.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah.
But it's pretty awesome because you
Right.
are essentially, your business is run by your relationships. And
Yeah.
of course, that's
I've,
not all.
I've definitely followed people from one place to another.
You can get chicken wings at 20 different restaurants within a square mile of Speedwell Tavern. The reason why we
now
do
with
a-
chicken wings, Karl.
You love chicken wings. He has
mine are
good
delicious.
cranberry buffalo wings. You still
Yeah.
get those on the menu?
We got them all.
Yeah, those are solid.
I hear the tuna bowl's great.
My tuna bowl's fantastic. My favorite chicken wings in town aren't at Speedwell. Like, there are other places you can get chicken wings, but it's about that interaction. It's that social connection. You're sitting. You don't go to H&R Block and sit there for 2 hours and talk to that tax
Yep.
person, about the things you talk about with your bartender. You know, you
And
don't-
essentially, it's not about the food you serve or the drinks you serve. It's about the people who serve them.
that's right.
Hospitality industry is about the hospitality people.
Correct.
Yep.
So if the hospitality industry closed up tomorrow for whatever reason, what would you do? Like, what would you?
We've done this question before.
I feel like we have. But like, what?
So
Like,
if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, what would
yeah,
I do?
yeah.
Dan asked that question.
Yeah.
But we didn't really go into depth. We kind of dicked off on it. But since we're going deep,
But, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a hard question to answer because it's not something that I really thought about.
Yeah.
well, let's say right now, you just found out today that New World Tavern as of tomorrow
All right,
is
I'd be a
closed.
stripper.
Yeah,
But
That's what
but I mean,
thought.
like, not even like you just don't have the option of working in the industry.
yeah, right. You would never work at a
Well,
restaurant.
I'd probably have a 48-hour panic attack because, like, what have I done the last
Accurate.
30-something years of my
Yeah.
life? And then,
But don't you think you could? I mean, you manage people in a restaurant. Don't you think you could manage people in another business?
Well, you
I-
could.
I
but
totally could, but
wouldn't
would I
say that
want to?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to say I'm going to be a manager in another business because
Yeah.
what if I don't like the business?
exactly. Like, I could go manage a fucking retail place, but I don't want to do that.
I don't think I could get away with managing people in a different atmosphere the way I manage them at Speedwell. I don't think I could do it. It's too personal, too intimate. I
Yep.
don't think you could do that in a different atmosphere. It would have to be in the restaurant. So I always said, fucking Speedwell fails tomorrow, I'm going to marketing or something else that involves personality, but
You can't become
but
a
it-
professional wiffle ball player.
I can't at this point. It's too late.
He's washed up.
I'm too gray. But yeah, I think that would be what it was, but I'd be miserable.
Yeah.
Like, I would be able to make good money doing it, but I would miss that itch, man. Like, that's why we
Yeah.
are still doing it. I would miss it. I would miss it like crazy.
I'm going to be one of those guided trolley tour people, and I'm going to give the most incorrect information
You've said this to
I
me
could
before.
possibly do.
Yeah.
Like a duck
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I
look
wanna
on the
be
left
duck
side.
boat, or like I want to go on the graveyard tour, and I'm like,
That's
oh,
still people business right there.
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like,
Yeah, but it's
not a
it's,
bad
it's
idea.
somehow
Yeah.
like an in-person internet troll.
yeah.
I would do ghost tours. Ooh, isn't that spooky, everybody?
Listen, stop stealing my ideas.
That's a really good. Dan, I could totally picture you doing that.
That'd be
bro.
super funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I
work
want
on
you
my
to get
book.
that job for like a day, just so
I know.
we can go on that tour.
Make it happen, Andy.
Yeah, can we do that? I would just love to see.
That'd be the best tour, just to hear like
I want to
tourists
be like, one of those sexy guys that does the boxing ring, holding up what round it is.
I like it. All right.
You and
the
this
foxy
all, like,
boxing.
sexualized that you want to be the stripper.
Yeah.
You want to be the.
Well, I get the
He
body
needs
for it.
attention,
You
Jordan.
do have the body. Yeah, all 6'3", 210 pounds.
Carl has the nipples for it.
Oh, don't look at those.
Poke your eye out from here, baby.
Picture Carl's nipples.
I need to poke up my
Mess up thing was
mind's
we've
eye.
all seen him because of the arm wrestling thing.
Yep.
That's not a
Unfortunately,
nipple,
you've
it's an
seen mine, too.
udder.
Is that Goofy's face? No, that's Carl's nipples.
Jesus.
Oh man,
Okay. How much time we got left on this
I
one?
don't know. I feel like it's over already. What happened there?
It was over before it began.
Oh no, we're not even there yet.
No, we're not even there.
So Carl, this was your plan.
Yeah, well, I wanted to be, positive, and it only
And then we
lasted
started-
about 10 minutes.
Then we started talking about your nipples, and it
Just went downhill
off
from there, huh? Utterly ridiculous.
there. Oh my god, that's
You're
pretty good.
welcome.
All right, that's pretty good fun. That's pretty good. So, I know Jordan is like family with his employees, and is that part of it? Is that big of a benefit? Like, do you think that's the key to your success and part of your enjoyment of the job?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't think the same way as I do.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Karl, but like he fucking pissed off.
Yeah,
to, like,
but
go
it's
talk to
perfect. The reason why I think that's very important is because you can buy chicken anywhere. You can buy beer from anybody you want. The hardest, you can't just go employee shopping.
Yeah,
So
especially in this town.
no, and restaurant work, as much as we're sitting here worshiping it, especially when you're coming on early, isn't easy. It's not forgiving. It's not for everybody. And I think Carl's like 1 out of 7 was pretty accurate. Like, it's not for everybody. So giving people other reasons to stay there besides their paycheck is super important. And that could be your edge on your competition too. Like having a good crew. Of course, you got to have a good product, but I think everybody has a good product these days. It's really hard to find a restaurant that succeeds more than a year that has a bad product. That doesn't happen. So everyone, just assume everybody has a really good product. Well, what's the other thing you can do to gain an edge? And that's making sure you take care of your people and make sure you have good people that are representing you so you don't get burnt out. You don't have to be there fucking 120 hours a week. And yeah, it takes a little bit more effort. Would I rather spend my time working doubles in the kitchen every day, or maybe hearing out one of my kitchen guys when he has a problem, or letting him borrow some money, or genuinely caring about that kitchen person and getting to know him? And yeah, sure, make myself vulnerable a little bit, but at the end of the day, what do I have to lose? I gain a friend. I have someone I can trust, someone who feels invested in the company, whether it be financially or not. They're invested. They feel like they're part of something. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing this for, right? That's why we work hard, because we want to be a part of something, like whether it be our own family or our friends, or, and that's, it's always been my mentality, is to treat people right. If you're in this for hospitality, why can't you be hospitable to your staff too? They're not sweat hogs. They're people. They're just trying to get along, just like you.
Well, I think that's one of the things you touched on is their buy-in. Like, if you work for Walmart,
Right.
what do you give a shit?
It's kind of hard to buy in, right?
Yeah, like
It's
I
kinda-
don't
you're not-
care. Like,
yeah,
punch
Wally's
in, punch
not
out.
showing
I don't
up.
give a fuck.
Right, exactly. But if I'm in there on the Sunday getting
Yeah.
my ass kicked in the kitchen and staying in late an extra hour to make sure the person on the next shift, and I'm physically doing that as the owner, like that goes leaps and bounds.
Right.
That's the reason why people come back.
Yeah.
Is, yeah, great. It's not the best paying job in the world, and you should not be a line cook for a living. Like, or if you want to be, that's fine, but you're gonna have a real hard time surviving today doing just that, because the money's just not there.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, like, if let's bring it back to the restaurant. I brought up Walmart, but like, if you work for Olive Garden and you give away free drinks, who gives a shit?
Right.
I don't care. I don't know who's shorting, but if I work at Speedwell Tavern, I'm like, this is Jordan's.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And, well, see, I disagree with that. So that's not the picture I try to paint over there. It's all of ours. And
Yeah, but still, like, as the bartender, I'm gonna be like,
they're not like fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They-
not fuck you management.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right. No, that's a great point. And I'm sorry, I misinterpreted it as I want them to do that stuff. I want them to feel like it's their home as much as mine. I want them to treat it that way. It's not about
Fish.
it's
Fish, you
mine.
got that he wants to give away free drinks, right?
do.
Let's break down and go over there right now.
Not all day, every day. We got to do what's best for
you can edit
everybody.
that part out, right?
But I do.
Free drink speed
believe
well, everybody. Woo!
You're gonna get better service if all my staff feels like they own the place.
Yeah.
Well, the customers
what I
can
mean?
tell too. If you don't give a fuck about the job, they can tell that right off the bat.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
They don't give a fuck about me feeding my kid. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they do. They care about me. We care about each other. We're all a big family. It's awesome. But they essentially they're showing up to work every day so they can pay their bills.
your
Yeah.
priority
Not
two,
my bills.
not priority one.
Right.
That's it.
But I want them to be able to do that where they feel like they're doing it. They're the owner that day. They
Yep.
walk in, I'm the owner of the Speedwell Tavern. Like, I'm going to make the decisions, and there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like, we're not going to be perfect all the time. So that's just kind of how I run shit. Now, that comes with its share of drama. There are going to be people who take advantage of that, and you take care of that situation as it comes along. But
And that hurts more.
it does.
Yeah.
It hurts a lot.
Because then it's
more.
personal.
As you
Yeah.
guys have
Yeah,
seen what
yeah.
I've
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. It becomes personal.
It becomes personal, and that's where you do make yourself vulnerable.
Yep.
But I think the reward way outweighs. And my mode of management, I would much rather be the person, instead of cracking the whip, holding that same, pulling that same carriage instead of the guy sitting in it cracking the whip.
Now,
That's
Dan,
just-
at Stats, are you the crack the whip kind of guy? Be like, fuck you guys, work harder.
I'm
totally
a
are. No, I can totally.
I'm a very passive aggressive person,
Yeah.
and
I'm not saying you don't work hard, but everyone else is working harder.
it's my job to manage their time.
Give
No.
them the tools to succeed.
Exactly. No, I mean I always tell them, like, I will help you no matter what you need, but I will not do your job for you. So, and I think you have to, like I said, I try to walk that line where how you manage, where it's like I'm very personal. I have a close relationship with my friends, but I have to be a little standoffish at the same point because it's a different kind of scenario there. And plus, I don't own the place, so it's like I'm
Right.
just one of the team members too.
So you have two people to please. You have the people you're managing, and then the people who are hiring you to manage those people.
Exactly. And luckily where I work, the owners are awesome and they let us manage that way, where a place I've worked before doesn't. And you have to do it by the book. So it's not like big brothers over your shoulder. But you definitely have to tread that water lightly between, like, am I too friendly with people or am I not? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
there's people that will take advantage of that stuff for you too. So,
Of course.
like, you got to know how to kind of treat everyone. Not everyone's the same.
Right.
Like, some person you can be like, hey man, how's your day going? Some person like, you go take care of that table. Like,
You have to be.
And
And some people just need that direction, because there are people that'll show up and they're going to look for the easiest way out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And they're
I,
going to take advantage of your kindness.
I try not to come over the top. Like, I want you to know if I have to speak to you on something, that means you fucked up. Like,
Right.
You don't want the sad dad face from, or the sad.
I'm
like,
not mad, I'm
I'm
disappointed.
disappointed. Like, that's and if you do it right, that hurts more and that motivates people more.
Right.
Going
Because
that
you're not
way.
straight up just firing them. It's not this like red light, green light shit. It's like, no, we're working with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people. If
Don't
you
let
just
me
come
down.
over and start yelling at me, I shut off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what you said to me. Like,
Because
you're a
they're
dick.
disrespecting you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you come at them with the right way, like you explain it and this and that, and like you tell them what they did wrong, you also tell them how to fix it.
Right.
You're gonna get better results.
Of course. And more often than not, they already know they're getting that talk. Like, they know
Exactly.
when they fucked
Yep.
up. You know what I mean? They know they're going to hear it from your perspective. And
Yep.
they need to, but you're right. Like,
Having a person with a guilty conscience is better than a person that has no conscience.
correct.
So, like,
Correct. Perfect way to put it.
Yep.
And I think that when you manage in a way like we do, where you do get to know your clientele, they're not all a number, that has more of an effect. That big boy, that big brother, big sister talk you have with them is going to carry more weight
Yep.
because you've shown you genuinely do care about them. You know, they're not just a number. It's not bullshit. you know?
exactly.
It's-
It is good in a good management team to have the good cop, bad cop person too. So like you can have that, and it sucks for the person that has to be the bad cop all the time. And
Right.
Karl kind of likes it.
Karl loves it.
He does a good job though. He likes to play like the guy, and Karl stepped out for a second, but he likes to play the guy that's like the crotchety old dickhead. But he's just as personable as Dan and I.
for sure.
Absolutely.
He cares about his staff.
Well, all his staff and current staff and probably previous staff will attest to that. Like how many
Right.
people we had on this podcast that say he was one of the best bosses they've had.
Correct.
And it's like you said, some people from the outside will look like that guy's a grouchy old asshole. But
Yeah.
you know, he's their grouchy old asshole.
Right, he has the tough exterior. And
Exactly.
and then he's soft as baby shit on the inside. But it's true, and I so for an example from an owner's perspective, like you have to have that bad cop. And I was the bad cop once. Like
Yep.
when I was working for another owner, I had to be the bad cop for that owner because the owner is the face of the place.
Exactly.
So that was basically my job: manage the staff, aka be the bad cop, be the guy that has to be the dick. Now I have 2 people that got to do that for me, and I coach them. I tell them how to do it. There's a certain way to say it. There's a certain way to do things, and there is a culture I want to uphold over there. So I want my style to transfer through them, but yeah, you have to have that. You have
Yeah.
to be coming up through this. If you want to eventually end up in a management or an ownership position, you are going to have to be the dickhead.
Yeah,
once in a while.
I mean, you got to be able to do both.
Yep.
Like, you have to know when you have to rein it in. You have to be that dickhead,
Right.
and for lack of a better word.
Just don't react emotionally. Don't manage emotionally.
Exactly. Like, I mean, before you do anything, go take 30 seconds in silence or whatever, and by yourself, walk yourself through it. Don't act.
That's
Like,
right. That's right.
It's
Don't
kinda
react.
like-
Don't
That's
react.
right.
Like,
You can't do
kinda-
anything emotionally.
Yeah.
It's kind of like type that email, but don't send it.
Well, that's like
Yeah.
we do
Yeah.
an end of the shift email all the time. Like every night we do an end of the shift email. We fire it off to the other managers, to the owners, and all that. And like there's been times where I'll be fired up in the moment. I will write something and then I'll go do something else. I'll go back. Like I need to reword this. Like,
Yeah, good for you.
because I don't want to because I'm pissed at the moment, but I don't want to. This is also other people's livelihood. So like if I word this wrong, just because I'm upset, like I'm going to cost someone their job. That, where in some cases that's probably the case it should be, but it's not always that point. So you need to come back and
Right. That's another
Press.
trait of a good manager is discipline. And
Exactly.
knowing to not let yourself off the chain.
Yep.
Because this can be an emotional and taxing job, like we were saying. That's the reason why we love it and hate it. It's because there's so much drama every day. You got to be disciplined, and and I think that comes with time. Like I think you.
oh,
Just,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Like
Yeah, for
20-year-old Dan Mahoney would have fucking fired off from the hip right there.
100%. Same.
And
I've
a
learned
lot, and a lot of it comes from learning that kind of empathy to be like, this kid's an asshole or an idiot, and then you find out like they have shit going on, or
Right.
whatever they're
Well,
they
that
could-
comes from experience too,
Yeah.
and that comes from like a good worker in any industry picks up stuff, the good qualities from the people around them. Like I've had some awesome managers in my past, and I've had some terrible ones, and you got to learn. Eventually, you learn who those people are in each spot, and you got to try to. Hopefully, you pick up the good stuff and not the bad stuff. Or if you get the bad stuff, you get rid of it. But
Right.
Like-
right. You don't idolize the person who's the drill sergent. Or
Exactly.
drill sergeants belong in the military.
Yep.
There's a reason why there are drill sergeants, but you
They-
can't apply that same.
they do not get, because I've worked for those people, and you do not get loyalty.
they get short-term results.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it. Like
Yeah.
That's
you
all it
might
is.
get a good day out of that, but you're not going to get a good lifetime out of that.
Yeah, you're not
Like-
going to get a good employee because they're going to
Exactly.
become bitter and jaded and be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, because a scared staff isn't a good staff. Like
Yeah.
if they're
No.
walking around on eggshells because you're in the building, that means you're not doing a good job managing.
Oh, it's terrible.
Like-
The insecure, like that. Me and Karl joke about it all the time. It's like, do you feel like your staff works worse when you're in the building because the owner's there? And I'm like, yeah, definitely.
And absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
My boss when I worked at Home Depot, the last one I worked for, John Sylvia, great guy. There would be days where he would show up and he would literally after half an hour turn to me and be like, "Am I making things worse?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
get
you
out
said
of
that too,
here,
right,
Like go away, let me do this. I got this. I don't need you second guessing me with the thing I already know needs to be done." But because you notice it now, it doesn't need to be done right now. You
Right.
know? And that comes to trust. You have to trust your people and let them. You have to learn to delegate.
If you're not willing, I don't know. If you're going to open up a small restaurant and you're not willing to get to know your staff and to work hand in hand with them, then you might not be doing it for the right reasons. Like I just think that's part of the whole fucking deal. That's what you sign up for is
You can't in this industry. You can't rule from an ivory tower.
correct.
Like you really need to be in touch with what's going on because it's different. Like what you opened with and how it started and how it keeps going. Like, if you're not there, you don't know what's
Right.
going on. Like, you don't have to be there every day.
But
Like, hopefully-
delegating's tough because I think
Oh, for sure. And it's-
all of us are kind of a bit of control freaks.
I think
Very good point.
Yeah.
in this industry, that's a huge personality trait.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to let
So
go.
you have
And
to
that's-
learn to be like, all
That's part
right,
of growing, and hopefully
that person's not the smartest person, but
Yep.
all I did was ask them to do X, Y, and Z. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get it done. But
Well, and that's part
Yeah.
of learning is you learn how to hire the right people that can at least like you can delegate stuff to. You shouldn't delegate your whole world to them.
No, but then that's the thing too. If you offer a little bit of trust maybe earlier than you think you should, you find out you got yourself another diamond in the rough, man. You find
Yep.
these people, you bring out the best of them because they've never had anybody tell them someone believed in them before. You know, that's the thing about
Exactly.
the restaurant industry is you're hiring a lot of younger kids or people who maybe failed elsewhere, have been chewed up and spit up by either another restaurant or another industry, and that's why they're coming to you.
well, we even made a joke earlier, not to get too much into it, but there was someone who was looking for a job locally,
Right.
And the first thing he said was, "I just got out of prison."
Right.
And kitchens do get that kind of, but like, why not give that guy a second chance?
Yeah.
And
We talked about
yeah.
it that day when he popped in, and
He came in like, was it 2 or 3 times? Like he came back like, I want this job.
how often you gonna find someone that committed and like that you're not gonna find.
And he was
someone-
looking to wash dishes,
right,
like
yes,
it-
to
yeah.
wash dishes.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
He's like, I know where I am in life. This is what I want to do, and I want to do it.
people that are that committed and loyal to a job they haven't got yet are usually running places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and, and that's the thing you got to keep in mind is when you're hiring people in this industry, you're mostly going to, not mostly, but you're going to often get damaged people. And
You're not going to get the Harvard graduate who's like, I really want to make chicken wings.
right. And you're not going to be able to afford them even if you're like, you know what I mean?
They have student loans.
They're in it for the wrong reasons. They're probably more unqualified than that damaged person that's probably going to come in and give you everything they have
Yep.
because you're all they have.
Yeah.
You know, and I've met some of the best people in my life in this industry, coming from a giant banquet restaurant to owning my own small pub. You know, like, give people a chance, and you're never gonna know until you do. They're gonna come in. They might come in dirty and tattered and feeling like shit, but you might bring out the best of that person.
Do you think that's changed your opinion, or like you're more empathetic to like the downtrodden or people who've maybe made mistakes in life? And
I grew up in that,
Yeah.
so that's a whole other subject personally. So I think that's actually helped me as a business owner is the fact that I've kind of come from that background. I've seen people at their worst since I was able to talk. So I think that's been a benefit, but I don't think I'm unique to that either. I think people like Dan and people like Karl see that in people too. And I think we learn as you cut your teeth in this industry from an executive standpoint or an ownership standpoint, you understand that no one's perfect more than ever because you just genuinely need fucking help. You need staff.
do you have arms? Can you pick up a dish?
Correct. Exactly. And you're just kind of forced to learn about people's bullshit and deal with people that might not be perfect. You know what I mean? And you come to appreciate them, and then I don't want to say that for lack of a better, I don't want to say your standard drops because that's not fair to those people, but your
eyes open to new opportunities.
correct. You don't already shut the door on something before you understand that there is potential in pretty much any opportunity.
Yeah. Wow. Did we make it the whole episode and be positive?
I think so.
Did
Yeah.
we really?
I think so.
Because we changed it to the C word.
Crazy.
That's why.
Yeah. All right.
Carl's not here, so
This episode's going to be called, and we're not using the C word. So that's last call, people. This is it. Carl, you can be the first to plug something.
All right, hello everybody.
Let's go.
Just want to plug. Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, we'll have live music. I love pregnant women, and he's not here. This is
He's
fair
not going to
game.
listen to this.
Yeah. And let's go.
Carl Heine here, New
Dan,
World
why do you go
Tavern.
next?
Yep.
Yeah, shake.
I'd like to plug my favorite Hawaiian shirt distributor.
Come on. Good food, good Hawaiian shirts.
Dan
Fancy
Mahoney.
umbrellas.
What do you got?
Andy, I don't know if I have anything for you today. I think I've left it all out in the fields.
You did it last time. You can't do
Yeah.
that 2 episodes
dude,
in a row.
I mean,
gotta
I
piss.
came in for
I
last
haven't
call last episode.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, so I have to talk to Jordan.
You gotta
Back to
talk.
Tyson. right, so
We can edit out dead air.
yeah, we never do
Or
that.
we can follow.
We always just leave it.
Or we can follow into the bathroom with a mic.
Yeah. Quick. Action live reporting here with Jordan Jabbat peeing in the bathroom. How many White Claws have you pissed out today? I don't know. Don't be a dick. That's it. Like
That's kind of the key to
Yeah.
being positive. Like,
we're almost hopefully there, or at least outside will be open. Stop fucking calling me and ask me how long you wait for. All right?
I'm gonna get Stats number and just fucking call.
I don't answer the phone enough. you'll keep trying, and I'm like,
Oh man.
yeah, I don't know.
So, what are you guys looking forward to this spring? Like, are you?
We have our patio opening, so we're already getting that planned out. So that's gonna be open.
I want to do that igloo thing down the Cape. Have you seen that?
You don't have to go to the Cape. There's closer ones. Unless you want to go to the Cape, you can.
I mean, it's the only one I saw.
There's one in Quincy.
Like the igloo.
Yeah,
This one
it's
has like Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah,
and
they
like,
all have Bluetooth because you don't want to sit in a balloon or a planet. I want to go to a planetarium one. Like back in the
planetarium
day,
one?
I don't know. Those don't exist, but they could. It's
be
literally the
fucking
same.
cool, like-
you ever been to the planetarium back in
Yeah.
the day? Yeah, it's the same thing.
Do you know what? All right, so this is one thing. This is completely off topic, and we're kind of like killing time till Jordan takes his piss. The one thing that I really wanted to do pre-COVID that I hope comes back is there was the Boston Children's Museum that
Yep.
would do the Boston Grown-Ups Museum. Like once a month or like once a quarter, they'd bring in like a liquor, like the poor guys that would make drinks.
So
And they'd sell tickets, and like grown-ups would go in and just be fucking idiots.
one of
And-
the coolest things I've done is when I used to go out on New Year's Eve is we went to the Museum of Science for one, and they did that. They
that'd
had
be so cool.
3 different levels of like bartenders, and you just get fucking hammered and go around the museum.
Yeah,
but then they
like,
had
how
like a
cool is
DJ and they
that?
cleared out the bottom floor as like
Yeah.
a dance floor, so it was like it was sweet. Like we got fucking wasted with dinosaurs. It was sick. And
I want to get
so,
wasted with dinosaurs.
Yeah, hopefully they do that stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I
I mean,
can't
who
wait for that
hasn't
shit to come
fucking
back.
taken a bottle of boost in the aquarium and got fucked up with fish?
I'm gonna get wasted with that.
And not me and Fish the guy making this
one,
thing.
One of the greatest stories of my life. So when
Yeah,
It's
you,
pretty
you just set
fucking
the
great.
bar way too high.
so
Sorry, Don.
this was when I had my comic book shop, and I used to do a very small comic book show in South Attleboro, and we used to go to this Uno's afterwards. And we're sitting at the bar one day, and we're talking to this girl, cute chick, blah blah blah. And she's like, well, you know, I stole a penguin. And we're like, what? And she's like, yeah, I stole a penguin from the aquarium. And I'm like, what are you fucking do-" And she went on this, like, she legit, for whatever reason, she was like a kid on a field trip, like, climbed down the ladder, like, took a penguin and, like, stuck it in her jacket.
No fucking way.
Wait, did you
Got-
see pictures of this? Because I don't fucking.
I don't believe
that.
it for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
This is a-
but the weird
this
thing
is like
was
Dan Mahoney
but the
telling
weird
stories
about it.
the weird thing was I'm like, I remember that fucking news story happening.
I don't.
And she's like,
must-
yeah,
this must have been in the 40s.
She's like, I'm not allowed at the New England Aquarium
I'm
anymore.
googling it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, how far did you get? She's like, I got outside. I'm like, what was your fucking plan?
She's like, well, I just read Mr. Popper's Penguin, so I was gonna turn the air conditioner on and get a fridge and freeze my basement.
But I mean, it's a cool bar story, man.
listen,
It is a cool
hey,
law story. I bet it just sounds like a Dan Mahoney.
I used to tell people I was on Nickelodeon Guts just
Yep.
because I had the T-shirt.
One of our upcoming Eating Beer Art podcasts is with a Nickelodeon actor.
Which one? It's not
Jacques Chevelle. It's a new show.
What show? Jordan watches kid shit. He can tell us.
Oh, you're gonna be so disappointed. But go ahead.
Is it fake?
Boston Aquarium dispels penguin urban legend. Despite rumors, no one looted penguins from the New England Aquarium.
Yeah, see.
That's not gonna still pretend it's
Child
real.
did not abduct a penguin.
Let's go find this girl.
It's an urban legend.
Wow,
and
what a
she-
bitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, it went from one of your best stories
I know,
of all
no,
time.
fuck
to
you.
just
Fuck
one
that
of the legends.
bitch.
You just told him Santa Claus wasn't real.
That's from like June of last year. I mean, for Andy at the comic book store,
No, this was
you're looking at.
But he-
2005. Oh wait, urban legend.
also, she
holds-
is
wait
not
a
a.
minute.
Wait.
Also, she is not
You
a
might be
12-year-old
okay.
boy with autism.
You might be okay.
Because I'm looking at the same article you are, and no,
she was
Oh, yeah,
definitely
all
not
right.
autistic.
and she was probably not 12. if
She's
she
a
was
cute
working at a
brunette.
bar.
She was
So-
hot-tistic.
And she was 100%
Can I
made
make
up.
those jokes? Carl said that, not me.
Nope, this one from 2005, same thing. Turns out it did not happen.
Well, that's the 12-year-old boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here
this
on
was not a 12-year-old boy.
Mythbusters.
This was a
Andy's
chick.
not-
New England Aquarium.
Andy is not going to refer to 12-year-old boys as keeper net.
Yeah.
Ever.
Listen,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
different
true.
strokes for
Give me
different
that
folks,
credit.
all right? You know?
So this
Still-
this would have been.
Wouldn't her article pop up if this actually happened?
I don't know.
Or
I don't know.
Yo, the Illuminati scrub.
So figure.
fact checks.
Let's see. It is now 2021. So 2011 would have been 10 years ago with Inebriart. So we're talking like 15 to 20 years ago.
Yep, 2005, so that checks out. Nope.
Again,
Yeah.
that's referring to the 12-year-old boy.
Apparently, it's an urban legend that like every aquarium has.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe. Maybe not.
I would believe. I'm.
All right,
I
so
might be
Sn-
jumping to conclusions.
Snopes, I know you're out there listening.
You got me.
Fucking solve it. She was a bartender at the Uno's in
she also told him
Attleboro.
she was tripping on mushrooms and stole a gnome and found a little kid in her closet.
Nah, that never happened. That never happened.
We should have an episode where we just do all Dan Mahoneyisms. Like, what is your best fake
Oh,
story?
we could do
you've ever
like
told us?
bar urban legends.
Yeah,
That'd
right.
be fun.
Yeah.
Last call, Jordan Chabot.
Oh shit.
Like, we're still recording.
I didn't know we were still recording.
We're still recording.
My bad, dude. I wouldn't have put you all through.
No, that's
penguin torture.
dude. That's fine. That's,
Oh shit! I don't really, and I don't have anything to plug.
Oh, but I have to plug something.
Well, you had two chances. I plugged something last.
I
time.
was
gotta
only
make
here
fun
for
of it.
10 minutes of the last episode. and I
That's
just
your
yelled-
fault you
I just
slept
yelled at that.
I want to plug stats in Southie. No, I got nothing. I've never been there.
Come to my patio.
Go visit Dan.
go
Piss him
visit
off
Dan,
so he
yeah.
can show up angry after Valentine's Day.
So making a point, not an appointment. What do you call it?
Reservation.
Make a
and then-
reservation.
Make a
And then
reservation.
call back
we don't
20
take.
times. You're like, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet?
Put
Is
your
it
name
ready?
on our wait list and tell me you have a reservation.
You know what? I have a plug. I want to plug my boy Joe Lingling Keating. You'll find him on
Nice.
the Bar Talk day drinking video as one of the guests
damn
sitting
it.
with Ashley. But he also has been doing his own little side hustle. Joe and his mom are very talented chefs. They specialize mostly in Korean and Thai food. Joe has been running a dumpling company. Basically, we're recording at New World Tavern. He's been using this kitchen as a commissary, but he does his own ponzu sauce, dumpling sauce, his own Asian dry rub, and he makes his own varieties of dumplings, which you can buy.
They're so good.
Yeah, if you're in the Plymouth area and you haven't heard of Bangkok Bulldog, you're not paying attention.
So
This kid-
good.
yeah,
So good.
Awesome. He works at Speedwell. Great kid, Joe Keating. Check him out. Find him on Facebook and Instagram, Bangkok Bulldog.
His videos are so like I'm a terrible cook, and they taught me how to make dumplings.
He's so
Like,
insane.
So-
and
So
they're so
talented.
easy
I'm
to
gonna
follow.
take your plug,
Which one?
his
That you-
Bangkok Bulldog,
I
and
thought
kind
you
of
meant mine.
spin it more about how great this community is. So Bangkok Bulldog, Wisdom Ferments,
Yes, another great one.
friend of the show, Mike Wisdom. He's
That was the
doing,
guy we compared Jim Casey to
Yeah,
when
we
we did
did.
the Fantasy Chef episode. Yes.
but they are working with local businesses to do exclusives. So Wisdom Ferments has an exclusive out right now with the craft beer seller. It's a CBC hot sauce. Check it out. And they're both, this may be groundbreaking, like if you haven't heard about this yet, but Bangkok Bulldog and Wisdom Ferments are working with Pretentious Pickle to do like pickled hot sauce and pickled dumplings of some kind. And
So sick.
like,
That's awesome.
I don't really know the details, but fucking check it out, man. Like, Pretentious Pickle's kick ass, and those two dudes are like killing it.
Yep.
I love people that make stuff.
Couple young kids just hustling.
Yeah.
Dude. We did the.
I've bought hot sauce from Wisdom in a parking lot like it was drugs.
and you know what? It
Listen,
kinda
that's
is.
how I got my dumplings and my other stuff.
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
showed up at my apartment complex and like gave me the sketchiest handoff ever.
and you're just like waiting for the cops to blow and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's fucking dumplings."
I got
So
dumplings.
cool, but that's the kind of thing. Like people are getting creative now because they got a little extra free time in their hands
Yep.
because you can't go out and like have fun anymore. So like, fuck it. What am I good at? And Joe's like, I can make dumplings. Wisdom is good at everything.
Yeah.
So and I love that. to see-
Wisdom's okay, whatever.
No, I worship
Listen,
the ground. That guy
The
walks.
episode me and him did was probably one of my favorite
yeah.
ones. So go back and listen to
All I
it.
remember there was a shitload of talk about chicken parm for some reason.
Yeah, and then I ran a chicken parm special the next day in spite of Mike Wisdom. He did a hot sauce at Speedwell as well. It was good.
Yeah.
And enough about me.
Yeah,
But
no. great people. I love this town because of those kind of collaborations. So my plugs for Plymouth. Come hang out in Plymouth this summer. Get your fucking vaccine and wear your mask and don't bring your shit here.
And don't call us.
Just come have fun.
Yeah, come have fun. It's a great time. There's great music, great art, great food. Wisdom Ferments, Bangkok Bulldog, Speedwell. Just fucking come here.
Pretentious pickle.
Yeah, just come here. Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche.
Don't be a douche.
All right, so you can email us at bartalkcast@gmail.com with your questions, complaints, and death threats. You can find us on all social medias at bartalkcast. I don't think we're on TikTok. I should get that TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok.
I don't know anything about TikTok, but I feel like you need to secure that TikTok.
For the day drinking thing, that's your perfect thing. You just do mini clips
Oh,
on it.
fuck yeah.
Son of a bitch.
That's genius.
Do you know how to do TikTok?
No.
I don't.
I have kids. I can talk to them.
Yeah.
They'll figure it
All
out.
right, cool.
Hire some interns.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay 'em. Free labor.
And check out our YouTube channel because we now have Bar Talk Day Drinking, and there'll be more coming eventually. Right now, we only have the one, but Carl thinks he's funny.
I mean, we talk about Lost on it. So,
There's a lot of Lost.
Went over my head.
Yeah.
I
Spoiler
never
alert.
watched Lost.
But
It was about
Dan literally says if you have not watched Lost, this is gonna be a big fail. But
Luckily,
there's other things other than Lost.
Yeah.
We talk about Lowe's. We talk about lawns.
I'm wearing a cool shark shirt.
Yeah, you were wearing a cool shirt, I think.
That's my Karl shirt.
We got
Yeah.
some great people. We got some cool people planned for the next one. I think we're gonna be doing rum, and So, sign us off, man.
You want me to sign us
Yeah,
off?
you did it last time. I don't even remember.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Be safe out there.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebriart or on Instagram at Inebriart6. You can email us at inebriart@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebriart Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.